I would like to invite Sabur Khan to take the floor during the keynote speech. Sabur, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Paul, for your wonderful speech and the few point. So, as you rightly pointed out, that usually the angel investor is coming to invest startup due to their mindset. I'm sure that everyone will agree with me because, of course, as you also mentioned, that the angel investor is mentally ready to take the some pain. And of course, if they don't prepare themselves to taking the pain, I'm sure angel investor will not coming to invest in any startup. But why we are talking that the CEO, as you also mentioned, that a lot of experience you also gathered between this time. So that is the one of the reason that whenever you are finding any of the new startup, I think very easily you can find out that who is the right person and who is the wrong person. Because you know that if we going through some pitching, I think through this pitching or so the demonstration of the business profile, we cannot understand very clearly that he is the right startup or wrong startup. But as an experienced person, in 99% cases, we understood that the CEO can easily find out the the I think pros and cons and what should be his action plan, how long he will be survive, his projection is really viable or not. So these sorts of matter can easily identified by a CEO. And if again I'm giving the reference of the Paul, I think in his vast experience, more than 40 years of experience, practical experience, I think he is a best doctor now. I think you see a lot of cases when any patients come to the doctor, doctor always try to find out what is his pulse, what is his other testing, give a lot of testing. After go through all of the testing, doctor can identify what exactly he needs the precaution or needs the medicine. As CU is also doing the same thing. Some of the questions they can ask, the scalability, how long you started, what is your business model, do you have the domain knowledge, are you practically involved, what knowledge you have, where you do your education, are your education is relevant to these factors, and these sorts of lot of questions. How much money you needed to make it viable, do you have the international marketing, do you know the digital marketing, do you have this solution developed by yourself or not. So these sorts of lot of question is asking by the CEO to find out the best solution or best startup. But again, as he also mentioned, that the pain is coming from the startup because startup is already investing the money, and the money is gambling. All of the gambling control is controlled by the startup. So, but again, I think that's why one of the reason that why CEO was also putting the continuous mentoring of this startup. I'm sure that CEO need to be involved, that how much the startup is really ready to accept the mentoring from the CEO or from the investor. If in any cases it is found that the startup is only eager for getting the money, I think of course it is the responsibility of the CEO or the investor to invest the money. Very easily we can find out, because if you talk with the 90% startup, I think first of their intention to get the money, I need this money. But I'm sure that if anyone is telling in angel investor, I don't need only the fund, I also need your guidance, I need some of your experience. Because you see, if I'm asking this Paul the how many visiting card you have, I'm sure that his pocket is full of visiting card. Why? Because of this networking, because a lot of the people try to make the networking with him. Why? Because he's an experienced person. So everyone has intention to extend his support or to make the friendship with Paul. But again, so same startup also will show the same respect. Hi Paul, I don't need only your money. If you give the proper guidance, maybe without money I can also reach in my destination. Because as a businessman, I must say that when we started our business in 1990, in that time there was no startup, there was no venture capital company, there was no policy, even the bank also not giving the money very easily. They always ask the collateral, a lot of thousand question, thousand security they needed. But how we came from this street level, is it for the money? It's the confidence, it's our policy, it's our honesty, it's our determination. The lot of the component is needed to make successful by any startup. So I must say that again, that startup or identify is the proper startup, angel investor and the CEO, both of them need to analyze properly. Because again, I should say the CEO has a lot of experience. And I'm sure the angel investor also, before investing any startup, they must have to identify that which area the angel investor are also very strong. Because in any cases, if the startup is already closed their business, I am sure the angel investor should have the capability at least to take back some of the resources so that he can utilize these resources to the other startup. A lot of cases, I must say that in my experience, I invested few of the startup. So after 2 years, they decided they will not run their business. They will go to the government job. And you see, after 2 years, when they already developed a lot of the ecosystem, suddenly they changed their mind. So what I did it, I'm just trying to involve myself to get it all of the resources and all of their components and knowledge and also the business connection they develop and giving to the another people. I'm trying to find out the another startup and try to match with this the business idea or the whatever business the startup is running. And of course, a lot of cases I found it is successful. Because I gave you one example, after 2 years, as I told, because when the startup is already changed his mind, he already closed his business, he is not coming to the business, he already joined in the good job of the government. So I just changed this whole business and shifted to the another startup. So I must say that as again Paul is mentioned that if we are giving the 100% responsibility to the startup, okay, take this money and do it in by your own way, then it will be very tough to get back the money. So we must have to keep the some technical control. I think control means I don't like to say the financial control, rather the business knowledge, the what exactly resources he is already collecting, and how much he is really doing the networking and day to day some follow up we need to do through the software. Because nowadays, the lot of the software is developed by the lot of the company. Because you see that between this among these 100 startup, I found that the one or two company they also produce some solution to look after the startup, to see them, to observe. And as in the first day, in the 16th February, we also observed from the one of our Netherlands friend. I think that he also made the one of this what's called this scanning of the startup. I think you see the physical scanning of the startup. So these are a lot of module also developing. And as an angel investor, we should not only the investor, rather we should also keep the lot of precaution, need to develop some of the components and also find out the best practices and also find out the best solution provider. And you see, due to the SaaS model, we can also make the membership module also with some of the providers. So that what happened, this easily we can tie up with this solution provider and we can match or getting the membership. And through this membership and through this screening process, we can easily make this assessment that this startup is running and following the proper module or not. As again, the Paul is also mentioned the technology is also, the disruption of the technology is going in every month, every day. We do not know what will be the next technology. But again, without technology, it is impossible also to follow up and to look after this any startup. So day one, I think this should be the one of the key strength or key focus that angel investor or the CEO must comply or must make the mandatory to use the technology. Because again, I should say without technology, I think it's simply impossible. Because you see, we need to analyze that how much the startup is really capable to use the technology, how much he is equipped to use the technology, how much the promptness. I think before investing maybe 1 month, 2 months, we can also follow up that what is his response time, how much he is, because a lot of cases we see that if we are sending the text, sending the message, maybe startup give the answer to the next day or after 2 days. That means he is not careful about his responsibility. And lastly, I must say that as CEO or the angel investor also look after the new idea, new concept. if always we can say that follow the Google, follow the Uber, follow the Tesla, follow the Facebook, follow the Airbnb, that should not be the also best example. Of course, we must remember that when Google is come to the market, I think they were the first one. When social networking like Facebook also came to the market, they were the first one. At the same time, WhatsApp, Airbnb, Uber, Tesla, a lot of the model which is now very going to the common, Dropbox. These sorts of technology, they are coming and they are introducing the first time. So we also need to be very careful that what new idea, new startup or new business model is coming to the angel investor. Angel investor need to also find out, is it really new? Is there any competitor in the market? How much these sorts of same solution or same sort of business is going on? Nowadays, if we consider almost very close to the 500 country, so these very close to the 500 countries, every country there is a lot of startup pitch, a lot of competition, a lot of idea is going on. So we must need to know that how much competition is going on in the same business module. If there is a huge competition, if there is a lot of module is already going to operate, so I think in that context we must go to slowly, because that investment may not going to be the earthy. And again, if the new investment, if the new business startup is coming, so it will be very easier if he can make the proper model. Very easily we can franchise to the whole world. Like you see the again yesterday in the opening session we saw the Starbucks. The what exactly the Starbucks they also mentioned in their business idea. They started in another model first, but after few years they realized the young generation pulse and they changed their mindset, and the model what they established, it was unique. And I'm sure everyone will agree with me, whenever we go to the abroad, when we need the internet, blindly we enter to the Starbucks because we know that they offer the free internet. So these sorts of new and innovative value addition, we also need to analyze. If any competition or competitive proposal is coming to the angel investor, I think, but we must look after the how much value addition is there. If there is no much value addition, I'm sure that definitely the angel investor should be very careful to invest. And of course, then it will not be so risky if there is a lot of value addition is going on in any competitive business proposal also. So anyway, again, I should say that as again I supported and echo of all of the Paul's statement, because he is one of the most experienced investor and CEO. So I hope that I should not differ anything with him. So thank you very much and wish all of you good luck.